Hello and welcome to this video on paper 2, question 2. It's going to be about a minute. This question asks you to summarise source A and source B. You would think that that just summarises the facts, but no. What you must do is infer, work stuff out. To show the examiner you're doing that, do this. In your first sentence, point out the similarities, but then say there is a difference. With this phrase, there is a difference of emphasis. That will fit every question. There are two words which prove you are inferring. They are this. This suggests, this implies. Use those two words, you will always infer. You need vocabulary which shows you are looking at differences. They are whereas, in contrast, on the other hand. Use those phrases and you will always be summarising differences. And remember, the word infer is not in the question. You will easily forget to do it unless you've watched the video and committed this to memory. Infer for all the marks in question 2. Hello and welcome to the 1-minute video on paper 2, question 3. The key thing about this question is that it is only about one extract, so you should do this before question 2, which is about 2 extracts and is therefore more difficult. Question 3 is just a language question, which means you quote. But what are you quoting? You are looking at the methods of the writer, and the key 4 methods which will always appear no matter what the question are simile, metaphor, personification, alliteration, the big 4 that come up every single year. Yes, there will be other things that come up as well, and you can spot them when they arrive, but you know the 4 are there, so do not panic. There are 4 extra ones which will also appear. There will always be some sort of repetition. There is likely to be a long sentence that lists things. There will always be contrast, as you will have seen in my videos. All texts are constructed between contrasts of positive and negative. And remember, you only get the marks when you say how those methods control what the reader thinks. That is where you're going to get into the top grades. And a final tip which I give you for all these exams is write in P sentences rather than P paragraphs. If you don't know how to do that, follow the link up there. Good luck. Hello and welcome to this 1-minute video on question 4 of paper 2. This is the comparison question and it compares the writer's perspectives. Because one of your texts will be a 19th century text, they are bound to have one of these perspectives in it. Either it will be about education or the patriarchy, the role of women in society, or it will be about class and the class system, or it will be about poverty, and number 5, it will be about the conflict between religion and science. If you research what the 19th century authors or society thought about those things, you will be able to get top marks in this question because you will know what you're looking for in the text. How the writer does this is the methods. You must comment on the methods. The main methods you have met before: simile, metaphor, personification, alliteration. But the key one that these writers will also use is contrast, because with contrast you show what you think is good compared to what you think is bad, and because it's the writer's perspective, they will always be saying, reader, this is good, but that is bad, and contrast will always be everywhere in the text. You will also need a vocabulary for writing about rhetorical techniques. Rhetorical techniques help writers to persuade. You will find them in Mad Father's Crotch. You need to check out this video to find out what those are if you don't know them already. Good luck. Hello and welcome to paper 2, question 5. This will be a question which asks you to argue and persuade. There are 15 techniques I want you to use. They are called Mad Father's Crotch. You want to watch that video to find out what they mean if you don't. But not all of those 15 techniques are equal. The most important is the anecdote, the little story you can tell at the beginning. You need to put that at the beginning of your article. The next most important thing is creating an enemy, finding things to attack before you give the solutions that you like. To revise for this, go to any newspaper and read their opinion pieces. Their opinion pieces are full of these mad crotch techniques. These are called rhetorical devices. Learn them by heart, practice using them, and you cannot fail. This is a brilliant question. You can over-exaggerate as much as you like. That's called hyperbole. And you can genuinely have real fun with it. My final tip is for you to think of things which are long-term. Other students in the exam will just be thinking about the immediate. But if you start thinking about the long-term consequences of things in 10 years' time, 20 years' time, or 50 years' time, your answer will be much different to everybody else's, and you will get the higher marks. Good luck. And 16 of your marks are basically for punctuation, spelling, and how you construct your sentences. Therefore, you need to go away and learn how to use colons, semicolons, and brackets. Make sure that you get commas right every single time. If you comma splice and use them instead of a full stop, you will get marked down. No questions asked. Go away and learn to use commas. Finally, if you start each and every sentence with a different word, it will guarantee that your sentences are interesting and your marks will rocket. Hello and welcome to this 1-minute video on how to plan your answer to question 5 of paper 2. I am going to introduce you to the 5 whys technique. Why should we all keep a pet? So number 1, we should keep a pet because it teaches us to care for something that is vulnerable and needs our help and to show it our love. Why is that a good idea? Well, if we learn how to care for a pet, we will learn how to care for each other and have a more inclusive society. Why is that important? Well, a more inclusive society will mean that we live in communities where we help each other and we will lead happier lives and longer lives. Why is that important? Well, in the future, resources will become scarcer and we will need to rely on each other's help more and more because we can't rely on the state to look after us in our old age or when our families fall on hard times. Why is that important? Well, because we all want to live in a society in which people help each other. This is our moral purpose as human beings and will give us real satisfaction. Why is that important? Because research shows that when you live in a society with friends, you have not just a happier life, but a longer and more productive life. And therefore, it's not the extra years that you live, but the extra life you put into your years that will make the difference to you. And having a pet will mean you will always have something to share your good times with. Why is that important? Well, people do not tend to die at the same age. Consequently, they will always have a companion when they grow old and their partner dies. So now you can see how the 5 whys work. They take you into the future. They give you a structure to your writing super quickly. You don't have to plan it all in advance. You just know you follow the next pattern of 5 whys. Now, in 45 minutes, you might get through 2 5 whys or perhaps even 3, and your answer will be much more sophisticated than anyone else's in the exam room, and that means you will get the top grade.